Okay, so everyone's been buzzing about AI taking over creative jobs, right? Is it all hype, or is this a real threat? We're gonna find out today. You sent over this paper, AI and Creative Professions, Revelation or Replacement. And it really digs into the details.
Yeah, and it doesn't just focus on AI as a job killer, which some people think, right?
Yeah.
It actually looks at both sides, like how AI could revolutionize these fields, but also where the real concerns are.
Exactly. So by the end of this deep dive, we're going to look at how AI is already changing things for journalists, designers, musicians, artists, the whole creative world. And you can decide for yourself what you think the future holds. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Awesome. So let's jump right in. This paper kicks off with journalism, which is interesting because we usually think of that as like very human-centered.
Right.
But AI can write basic news articles and even like earnings reports in seconds.
Yeah, seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine an AI spitting out a perfectly formatted earnings report, all the numbers and everything, while a human journalist is still on their first cup of coffee.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah, it is wild. But then the paper asks this really important question. What about the stuff that needs like a human touch? In-depth investigations, stories about people's lives where you need empathy and understanding.
Right, exactly. And the paper gives some examples where newsrooms have actually had to let go of some journalists because they're using AI to do some of the reporting.
Wow, so it's already happening.
It is. And it's a tough situation because AI is amazing with data, right? Crunching numbers, finding patterns, that's its strong suit. But capturing the nuances of human experience, that's a whole other ballgame.
Yeah, there's something about creativity that's hard to pin down right. You can teach a computer grammar how to structure a sentence, but can you teach it to write something that moves people, something that makes you feel something?
That's the million-dollar question a lot of people are asking. And it's not even just about the writing itself. The paper talks about how AI can actually make existing biases worse, especially if it's trained on data that's already biased. So you could end up with news stories that are, without meaning to, reinforcing harmful stereotypes.
That's a scary thought. So we've got this tension right. AI can be super fast and efficient, but it could also cost people jobs and even spread misinformation. Sounds like we need to be really careful about how we use this stuff.
Absolutely. And that brings us to design. We talked about Canva earlier. It's a great example of how AI is making design tools more accessible, which is awesome. But the paper brings up this idea of homogenization, of creativity.
Homogenization. Okay, that sounds kind of sciencey. What does that even mean when we're talking about design?
Basically, think about it this way. If everyone's using the same AI tools trained on the same data, what happens to originality? Everything might start looking the same. We could lose that unique human touch that makes design interesting and diverse. Imagine every logo looking like it was made by the same algorithm.
Yeah, that would be pretty boring. Like walking into a supermarket where everything has the same packaging. I see what you mean.
Right. And for professional designers, it raises some big questions too. Do they become like curators, guiding the AI, refining its output? Or do some design jobs just disappear?
It seems like with AI, every answer just leads to more questions. But before we go too far down that rabbit hole, let's switch gears to music. I know you're a big music fan, and this paper has a whole section on AI composing music in all sorts of styles.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, AI can write a symphony in minutes. And the paper really dives into this debate about whether AI can actually create something truly original or if it's just imitating what it's been trained on.
So like if you feed an AI a bunch of Beethoven, could it compose something that sounds like Beethoven but is actually totally new? Or is it just rearranging the same notes?
That's the big question. And to get to the bottom of it, the paper mentions this study where they played both AI-generated music and human-composed music to a group of listeners and asked them to tell the difference.
Ooh, that's interesting. So what happened? Could people tell which was which?
Well, some could and some couldn't. But here's the really interesting part. Even the people who figured out which pieces were made by the AI, they often said that they found the AI music just as emotionally engaging as the human music.
Wow, that's wild. So even if it's not original in the strictest sense, it can still move people. Throws a wrench in the whole robots can't be creative argument, doesn't it?
It really does. And then you get into the legal side of things, which is a whole other can of worms. Copyright law is having a hard time keeping up with AI. Like, who actually owns the rights to a song written by an algorithm? The programmer, the company that owns the AI. Nobody really knows yet.
That's a great point. And I bet it gets even more complicated when we start thinking about AI art, which is where we'll pick up next time. So we were just talking about how AI music might not be original in the strictest sense, but then when you look at AI art, it gets even more complicated, right? Like, you sent me some of those DALL-E images, and they were insane. Just from a few words, the AI can dream up these brand new images. It's kind of mind-blowing.
It is, it really is. And the paper talks about how some artists are using these tools, like DALL-E and Midjourney, as a starting point. Imagine you're stuck, right? You have this idea, but you can't quite visualize it. So you tell the AI, okay, show me a landscape, but with a purple sky and 3 moons, and bam, it gives you all these variations to work with.
That would be amazing for getting past creative block. But it also makes me wonder, like, is there a point where we lose what makes human art special if AI can do it all, you know?
Yeah, that's a deep question, and the paper digs into that. Right now, AI art is still mostly based on the art it's been trained on. So it can make these incredible realistic images or totally fantastical ones. But can we really call it original?
It's almost like anyone can learn to copy a Van Gogh perfectly, right? But that's not the same as having your own style.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. And then there are the economic impacts to think about. Like, if people can use AI to make art that's almost as good as a human artist, will people still pay for original art?
Right, and beyond the money, what about the emotional side? The personal expression that goes into making art. Can an algorithm ever understand what it means to pour your heart and soul into a painting?
Those are some of the big philosophical questions the paper brings up. And honestly, there aren't easy answers. We're in uncharted territory here. We're going to have to keep having these conversations as AI keeps evolving, to figure out how to navigate this new world.
Feels like we've been going down this rabbit hole, uncovering all these challenges, A&D opportunities that come with AI. But before we get totally lost, maybe we should zoom out a bit. Look at the bigger picture. What are the broader implications of all this for creativity as a whole?
Yeah, good point. And what's interesting is that the paper doesn't frame this as like humans versus AI. It's not a battle. It's more about finding a balance, figuring out how human creativity and AI can work together, maybe even enhance each other.
So it's not about AI replacing artists or musicians or writers. It's about finding ways to use it as a tool, something that benefits everyone.
Exactly. And that's where things like ethics and laws come in. We need to think about things like copyright, data privacy. How do we make sure AI isn't used for harmful things or ways that are discriminatory?
The paper actually mentions this idea of an AI ethics council, like a group of experts who are constantly thinking about these issues and helping us figure out how to use AI responsibly.
That's super important. And it's not just about rules and regulations. It's about creating a culture where artists and tech people and policymakers are all talking to each other, working together.
It all comes back to something you said earlier about focusing on the skills that AI can't replicate. What are some of those skills? What can people in creative fields do to stay ahead of the curve?
Well, critical thinking is huge. AI is great at following instructions, generating variations, but it can't really step back and ask why. Like, why are we doing this? What's the purpose?
So it's about being able to think for yourself, analyze information, come up with new ideas that the AI wouldn't even think of.
Exactly. And that goes hand in hand with problem solving. AI can help with the routine stuff, but the really complex problems, the ones that need human ingenuity and creativity, those are still going to need us.
Sounds like a lot of it comes down to being adaptable, right? Always learning new things. Because the creative world is always changing, and AI is just speeding that up.
It is, definitely. And I'd say emotional intelligence is another big one.
Yeah.
AI can make music that evokes emotions, sure, but it doesn't feel those emotions. We humans have this unique ability to connect with each other on that level, and that'll always be valuable, especially in creative fields.
So even in a world where AI is writing symphonies and painting masterpieces, there's still a need for that human touch, that ability to connect with an audience.
For sure. And one last thing I'd add. Communication skills are more important than ever. Being able to explain your ideas clearly, whether it's through writing or speaking or your art itself, that's how you stand out.
So it's not just about being a great painter or writer or musician, it's about having this whole set of human skills that can work alongside AI.
Yeah, exactly. And it's important to remember, we're still in the very early stages of AI. We're just starting to grasp what it can do and what it can't.
Feels like we're standing on the edge of something massive. So knowing what we know now, what do you think the future holds for creative professions? Can we embrace AI without losing what makes human creativity so special?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And I think the key is remembering that AI is a tool. like a super advanced paintbrush or a musical instrument. It can help us create incredible stuff, but it can't replace that human element. The vision, the spark, the meaning behind the creation.
So we shouldn't be scared of AI. We should be figuring out how to use it to actually make our creative work even better.
Exactly. Imagine a musician using AI to come up with a melody they never would have thought of on their own. Or a writer using it to break through writer's block, explore new ideas.
So AI could actually be a partner, a collaborator in the creative process.
That's a great way to think about it. And I think the people who really thrive in this new creative world will be the ones who are open to that collaboration, who experiment, who learn alongside AI.
It's all about being adaptable, right? Staying curious. And I guess remembering what makes us human. Those are the things AI can't replicate.
That's it. Our emotions, our experiences, our unique perspectives. Those are the things that give our work meaning. And those are the things that'll keep creative work human, even in a world full of AI.
That's a great point. So before we wrap up, let's take a minute to recap everything we've talked about today. We started by looking at how AI is already shaking things up for journalists, designers, musicians, artists, everyone, really. We talked about how it could be good, right? Like making things faster, more efficient, more accessible. But also the potential downsides, like people losing jobs, AI being biased, and that big question about whether anything AI makes can truly be original.
Yeah, we covered a lot of ground. We talked about how important it is to have those ethical guidelines, and maybe even laws, to make sure AI is used for good. And that we need to be having these conversations, not just with tech people, but with artists, policymakers, everyone.
And that idea of AI as a partner, not a replacement, something that can actually make human creativity even stronger.
Exactly. It's a complex issue, and there's no easy answers. But I think the most important thing is that we keep talking about it, keep learning, and keep experimenting.
Couldn't agree more. So if you're interested in learning more, the paper we discussed today is a great starting point. And there are tons of online communities and even other podcasts out there where people are having these conversations. Don't be afraid to dive in and explore.
Absolutely. The future of creativity is being shaped right now, and it's a conversation we all need to be part of.
That's a great way to end this deep dive. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.